Hello everyone, wishing you all a fabulous day. So in our previous classes, we have learned about the animal kingdom. We have learned the special features of animal kingdom. So before moving to the phylums, let us recall, let us revise the portions that which we have come across, which we have learned, so that it will be very easier for you to move forward, very easier for you to understand on what basis these animals have been categorized. So are you ready? So let's move. So we have seen in the introductory part that there are around 1.2 millions of animals, species which are of showing great diversity of life. Around 1.2 millions of species. There may be more than that. Okay, around, it is a calculation. Okay, so approximately, we say that approximately, isn't it? So they differ in shape and size. All the animals differ in shape and size. So on the basis of how do they differ? On the basis of habitat, on the basis of level of organization, on the basis of body plan, on the basis of symmetry, on the basis of body cavity, on the basis of germ layers, and on the basis of mode of locomotion. As I have told you, each and everything we will be explaining its details. So we have come across the germ layers. Do you remember? Yes, of course you may be remembering what are the germ layers, how do they form the germ layers, how the organs are formed. Regarding the body cavity, we have learned a coelom, coelomate, pseudocoelomate and a xylem. So we have come across these three versions of body cavity. So we know how the animals have been categorized based on these points, isn't it? So next we have learned the general characteristics, the features of the animals. What are the special features of the animals? Of course they are multicellular. The first point we have learned about that was it is multicellular, means many cells. It consists of many cells, and we have learned that animals lacks cell wall. While the plants possess cell wall, but animals lacks cell wall. So instead of that, what do they have? They have plasma membrane. Do you remember? Yeah, we have discussed this in the previous classes. So then they possess a type of skeletal support. I have told you, we have a framework, isn't it? We have outside a framework. So we have a skeletal support, and they exhibit levels of organization. So as I have told you, cells forms tissues, then forms organs, and then the organ system. Then we have learned reproduction by both the means, the sexual as well as the sexual means of reproduction takes place in the animals, and they are capable of locomotion, moving from one place to another with the different types of organs that which they possess. Some moves with the help of tentacles, some moves with the legs, or different types of, depending upon the movement and depending upon the locomotion. Then they possess a nervous system. As I have told, they have a digestive system, they have a respiratory system, they have a nervous system. So coming from the lower phylum to the higher phylum, we will see an evolutionary changes that which comes in the animals. And then what we have discussed was regarding based on the differences in their body type and design, they are divided into three portions. What were they? Germ layer, body cavity, and radial symmetry. So out of these three, germ layer I have explained, and also the body cavity I have explained. Only the radial symmetry is left out. That we will discuss today, and then we will be moving to the phylum. So what we have learned about the germ layers was that germ layers are the primary layers, primary layers of cells that are formed during embryo development. So these are the primary layers that which is formed during the embryo development. And then we have learned all the organs, tissues of an organism develops from these germ layers. So all the tissues as well as the organs, where does it develop from? It develops from the germ layers. Then we have learnt they will be having either two germ layers or three germ layers. For that also we have learnt a term. one which is having 2 layers, they are called as diploblastic. One which is having 3 layers, they are called as triploblastic. And also we have seen the germ layers here. The outer portion is termed as ectoderm. Okay, we have learnt. If you have not forgotten, you may be remembering. The outer layer portion forms ectoderm, and the inner layer forms endoderm, and the middle layer forms mesoderm. We have learnt regarding this. Okay, then what we have learnt was regarding the body cavity. So then we have learnt about body cavity. What is body cavity? We have learnt every organism will be having a body cavity. We also have a body cavity, and that which is containing body cavity, those species will be known as coelomate. Those organisms will be termed as coelomate. That means organisms that which are having the true body cavity, hollow body cavity. So I have told you also that way. I have drawn and shown also in this way hollow body cavity, that which is possessing the hollow body cavity. We also possess the hollow body cavity. So we can say that we are coelomate. Then we have come across pseudocoelomate. So I have told you they try to make us fool. Pseudocoelomate means false. Organism having a false cavity. They appear to be having a body cavity, but they do not possess a true body cavity. They try to make us fool, but we are very smart enough to understand that they are having the false cavity. Then we have learned the body cavity is filled with a fluid. The body cavity is filled with a fluid. Then we have learned about the acoelomate. The body cavity is completely absent. I hope you might have gone through each and every portion that which we have learned. Finally, we have an interesting topic, interesting thing, that is body symmetry. As I have told you, their body organization of the animals are designed based on 3 types. What are they? Germ layers, body cavity, and symmetry. So finally we have reached the symmetry. It's an interesting thing. So body symmetry. So now let me ask you one thing. If we cut this dog into 2 equal halves, will it be cut into 2 equal halves? Of course, isn't it? So it will be having one eye, one ear, another ear. The nose will be divided equally, and one arm, then one leg, one thigh. All their portions will be divided into 2 equal halves. As we are also that type of symmetry, we term it as bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry in the sense body is being divided into 2 equal halves. Body is being divided into 2 equal halves. As you can see here in the image, a dog. See, if we cut the dog into 2 equal halves, it will be divided equally into 2 parts. One eye, one ear, one leg, one hand. Okay, so it will be divided to equal parts. That type of symmetry is termed as bilateral symmetry. That type of symmetry is termed as bilateral symmetry. So symmetry means is the balanced arrangement of body parts or shapes around the central point of the axis. Okay, so about the central point of the axis. That is the balanced arrangement of the body. So how the organs are being divided inside your body, based upon that only we do symmetry is based upon that only. So radial symmetry, we have example of starfish here. So you can see here the blue lines of axis. So any vertical plane passing through the central axis will divide the body into 2 equal halves. Any vertical plane passing through the central axis will divide the body into 2 equal halves. So we can divide the starfish from any of this central axis, means all these blue lines are central axis. You can see here. I hope this image is clear to you all. So these are the blue axis that which is. So body can be divided into any axis, any central axis. That is termed as. So that will be divided into 2 equal halves. So these are termed as bilateral symmetry. Hope it is clear to you all. So any vertical plane passing through the central axis will divide the body into two equal halves. Bilateral symmetry means body is divided into two equal halves only in one plane. So body is divided only in two equal halves in one plane, as we have divided the jaw. Here in this example of starfish, we have learnt body can be divided to any of the plane, any of the axis. So that body will be divided into two equal halves. Clear? So I hope that bilateral symmetry as well as the radial symmetry is clear to you all. So moving forward. So kingdom Animalia is divided into many phylums. You can see here the various phylum that which is mentioned here. So phylum Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata and Chordata. So we will be learning all these except the chordata. We will try to complete all these except chordata. So Porifera, once again let me repeat it. So Porifera, Coelenterata, the next phylum is Coelenterata, and the next phylum we will be learning about the Platyhelminthes, then Nematodes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata and Chordata. So we have animals are divided based on this phylum. So we will be learning all the non-chordates today, and the next day we will be learning about the chordates. So hope all of you are alert and active. So be alert and active so that you will be able to learn it properly. So grasp the points that which is being said in the class, so that you will not be able to again and again need not revise it. So in the class itself you can learn and go about the different phylums, their special features, why they comes under the Porifera or why they comes under the Coelenterata, why they belongs to this particular group. There will be a special characteristic features. So based on that we will be moving on to. So dear students, let's start our learning process. Are you ready? Yeah. So here there is first phylum, that is phylum Porifera. So here is your first phylum, that is phylum Porifera. So listen how it is being pronounced. Okay, phylum Porifera. So the first phylum in the animal kingdom is phylum Porifera. So what are the characteristic features of this phylum Porifera? You can say that exclusively they are found in the deep ocean. So exclusively they are found in the deep ocean. Okay, so they are exclusively of aquatic form. The first point is exclusively of aquatic form. And the second point, vase-like, sac-like or branched or rounded structure. So these organs possess, so vase-like. In this way, vase-like, rounded or sac-like structure. They will be possessing vase-like. So in this way. Okay. So the next one is, these animals have minimal differentiation. What is the meaning of minimal differentiation? Their body does not have a proper design. Okay, their body will not have a proper design. And division into tissues. That means no tissues. Cells are present, but there are no tissues found in this organism. Then organisms are acoelomate. Do you remember? As I have told you, on the basis of body design, they are being divided into three types. On the basis of germ layer, body cavity and symmetry. So there in the body cavity we have learned coelomate, pseudocoelomate and acoelomate. What is the meaning of acoelomate? What we have learned there in acoelomate? We have learned that acoelomate will not be having body cavity. So if there is no body cavity, then we can understand that there are no organs to fit into that particular body. Clear? There are holes or pores over the body which lead into a canal system. So there are pores. You can see here in this way there will be pores all over the body. So in this way pores will be present all over the body. That is a very, very important feature of this phylum Porifera. There are holes or pores all over the body and it leads to a canal system. That means, so water will be entering inside and water will be going outside. So the excretory system and the nutrients will be coming inside through this canal and the water will be expelled out through the same canal. Is it clear? So the waste materials also can be expelled through this canal since they are having pores all over the body, as I have told, pores all over the body. Then the important point is that body is covered with hard skeleton. So body is covered with hard skeleton, okay, which consists of spicules. Spicules in the sense body will be having a hard covering termed as spicules in this way. Spicules. Okay, you can see here in the image also, even in the image also. Okay, so the body is covered with spicules, which is made up of calcium carbonate, silica or spongin fibers made up of protein. So the body is made up of calcium carbonate. You can we have seen the examples of the coral reefs and all. So that thing also, that is also hard. Why? Because it is made up of calcium carbonate. They are found in the deep ocean, as I have told. You can see here the image of cycon. So image of cycon you can see here, and also the image of spongilla. These are spongilla. Okay, this is cycon. Is it clear? So once again we will revise the points that which we have learned in phylum Porifera. Very, very important. Each and every phylum is very, very important. Sometimes one mark questions will be asked, or you will be asked 2 marks questions. Based on the questions you have to write the answer. So for that you have to learn the characteristic features. So if phylum Porifera comes to your mind, suddenly what must come? The image of cycon as well as the image of spongilla. So then you will never forget the features. As I have told you, they will be having a vase-like structure. Okay, vase-like structure. And all over the body they will be having pores. And they will be having spicules. In this way they will be having spicules. Okay. Then the body is made up of calcium carbonate. That much you can remember, isn't it? So that body is made up of hard skeleton, that is of calcium carbonate. Examples are cycon and spongilla. Cycon and spongilla. So you remember the names cycon and spongilla, then you will never forget. So as I have told you, it is of exclusively marine form, aquatic form. Then we have the vase-like, sac-like structure, rounded structure, and they have minimal differentiation. Their body part is not having a proper design. They don't have a proper design. And as I have told you, the tissues are also not there. Okay, cells of course are there, but tissues are not there. Cells from the tissues, tissues from the organs, organs from the organ system. So in the level of organization we have learned such matters. Okay, so remember that organisms are acoelomate. That means they don't have the body cavity as we have. If there is no body cavity, then we can understand that from that they don't have a particular organ inside their body. So acoelomate means no body cavity inside. So organs cannot be fit into that particular organism. Then they are having holes, as I have told you, all over the body they will be having holes in this way, and they will be having spicules. Body is covered with a hard skeletons. And before that we have told that since they are having the pores all over the body, they form a canal system. So water will be entering inside through these pores and water will be expelled also through this particular pore. So canal system. So the nutrients can be absorbed through this canal, and water, the excretory, the waste materials can be expelled through this canal. So nutrients can be absorbed, water can be expelled, or waste materials can be expelled through this pores. That is the peculiarity, that is the special features of the Porifera. The name Porifera, pores, okay, Porifera, you remember like that, so that you will never forget in your lifetime. Okay, so Porifera, pores, the body is having pores. Okay, then the body is covered with hard skeleton. As I have told you, body is covered with spicules, the hard skeleton. It is made up of calcium carbonate, which is made up of calcium carbonate, silica or spongin fibers. So it is made up of calcium carbonate, silica or of spongy fibers, and it is made up of protein. So hope you got it. Phylum Porifera. So you remember phylum Porifera means the examples suddenly must come cycon as well as Spongilla. These two images must come in your mind. Otherwise you just remember vase-like structure as I have drawn here, the vase-like structure. Body is having all over the body, they are having pores. As the name indicates, Porifera, pores. Okay, and they will be having spicules all over the body, spicules. And body is made up of calcium carbonate, silica. Body is made up of protein. As I have told, they don't have a proper design. They are acoelomate. How do we differentiate? How do we identify this belongs to phylum Porifera? So they are acoelomate. They don't have the body cavity. Is it clear? I hope you might have by hearted this by this time, isn't it? So next, let us move to the next phylum. So before moving to the Coelenterata, let us see the cycon little more closer view. So you can see here the vase-like structure. You can see here. See the hollow portion goes all over the body, that is found exclusively marine. That means exclusively found in the deep ocean. You can see here the clear image of cycon. Is it clear? And also you have the image. We have the image of Spongilla here. You can see here the Spongilla also. Is it clear? So you can see cycon here and the Spongilla here. These are the examples of phylum Porifera. So now let's move towards the phylum Coelenterata. Phylum Coelenterata. So what are the peculiar features that which is found in phylum Coelenterata? Let us see that. So are you ready? Let's take a deep breath. Okay, otherwise you will be feeling boring. Okay, what these animals are, how they are being divided, or differentiation, which is very horrible to learn. Like that if you take, it will be very difficult for you. So take it easy, children. So you learn with fun, then only you will be able to grasp it. Okay, so learn with fun. As I have told you, phylum Porifera you can remember easily. Pores all over the body, cycon, Spongilla. These are the examples of phylum Porifera. Now next, coming to the body, phylum Coelenterata. Phylum Coelenterata. So as I have told you, based on based on the habitat, based on the body organization, based on the germ layers, based on the body cavity, these particular organisms are being divided. They are being categorized. Based on these conditions only, we are dividing them into particular phylum. So phylum Coelenterata. So what are the examples of phylum Coelenterata? How do they live? Where are their habitats, etc. We will learn here. So they are, first point is that they are aquatic. They are also marine animals, as we have learnt Porifera. So compare and study. Okay, Porifera also was, as I have told you, exclusively marine. They are found in the deep oceans. They are also aquatic. This phylum Coelenterata also aquatic. Then radial symmetry. Do you remember the first time when we have learned about the symmetry? I have given you two examples. One was of dog and another one was of starfish, our favorite starfish. Okay, all of you like to see the starfish, isn't it? You might have seen in GIFs, you might have seen in videos and all. So you are very familiar with this starfish, and also we have in our lab also this starfish. So all of you are very familiar with this starfish. So starfish, as I have told you, body can be divided from any of the central axis. It can be divided into two equal parts. Okay, that is radial symmetry. With tissue level of organization. So body design, but tissue level of organization in the sense, the tissues are there, but there is no organs here. Okay, tissues are there. In the earlier one we have seen cells are there, but there are no tissues. Here cells are there, tissues are there, but there are no organs. Okay, so body designed tube-like. You can see here the tube-like body, hydra. Okay, examples, tube-like, body designed into tube-like. So you can see here in this way. Okay, body is designed into tube-like. Then with a single opening, it will be having a single opening. So through that single opening, they will be expelling the waste materials and receiving the water, the nutrients, all those things. Clear? So they will be having a single opening. So in the case of Porifera, we have learnt they have pores all over the body. So the water is expelled and received inside through this pores, okay, through this canal. So here they are having only single opening. Through this single opening, the water will be getting in and water will be expelled out, or the excretory or the waste materials will be expelled out. The nutrients will be absorbed through this single opening. Then the tentacles help in defense and capturing the food. So these are tentacles. You can see here the tentacles of Hydra. So these tentacles helps for the locomotion of these particular organisms. So with the help of this tentacle, they will be moving forward. Okay, they will be moving forward. And these tentacles are for the capturing of the prey as well as for the locomotion, for movement from one place to another place. Clear? Then, special stinging cells called cnidoblasts present. So if you disturb this particular organisms, they release a stinging cells in the sense a cnidoblast. They will release the stinging cells and we will have a little pain in our body. So thus they defend the enemy. Okay, thus they defend the enemy. So they will be releasing the stinging cells and that particular prey will be having a pain in their body and they will go. So we should not disturb the animals. If we disturb them only, they will be releasing the stinging cells. We also do not like to be disturbed. So anybody disturbing us, we don't like, isn't it? The same way the animals also do not like disturbing. Okay, so disturbance is not good. So no need of disturbing them. Let them live their life. Okay, then let them live or let them move freely. Clear? So phylum Coelenterata, they are having stinging cells called cnidoblasts. Cnidoblasts are present. Examples are, so you can see here jellyfish. You might have seen this jellyfish in the GIF, video, images and all, isn't it? You might have seen this jellyfish. So they move. How this jellyfish moves? They will be moving forward like a rocket-like movement. They will be pushing their body and rocket-like movement they will be having. This jellyfish will be having. And here we have the example of sea anemone. Sea anemone. Okay. So body will be in this way. And these are the tentacles. So here a single opening will be there. Through that the water will be absorbed and water will be expelled, or the excretory waste materials will be expelled. And another example we have here, Hydra. So as I have told you, body is tube-like. Even the sea anemone also is having the body tube-like. Hydra, tube-like body, and they are having tentacles. Tentacles are to defend as well as to capture the prey. Defense mechanism also they do with the help of tentacles. They move. Locomotion is with the help of tentacles, and they helps to capture the prey. The tentacles will be helping to capture the prey. Is it clear? So what we have learned in the phylum Coelenterata, hope it is clear to you all. So let us once again revise it. Need not worry, children, don't worry how much we have to learn in this particular chapter. How do we remember this phylum Porifera, how do we remember Coelenterata? Need not worry about that. As I have told you, you just remember Coelenterata, the phylum Coelenterata. So first point comes under that is aquatic. They are aquatic. And radial symmetry. Body can be divided from any of the axes into two equal halves. Radial symmetry. The earlier one what we have learned was regarding the Porifera. What was it? What type of symmetry they had? Porifera. What type of symmetry they had? You just recall what we have learned. Okay, they are having radial symmetry. Phylum Coelenterata are having radial symmetry. And tissue level of organization. As I have told you, their tissues are present but there are no organs in their body. In Porifera we have learned cells are there but tissues are not present, and also there is no organs. So body is tube-like. Okay, body is tube-like with a single opening. They are having a single opening. And tentacles, we have learned about the tentacles. As I have told you, it will be helping to defense as well as to capture the prey. Then we have learned they will be releasing a special stinging cells. If these animals are disturbed by the enemy, they will be releasing a stinging cells that will be releasing a little bit of poison type. So it will sting your body and you will have a little pain in your body. So here what lesson we must receive is that we must not disturb any of the animals. Somebody disturbing us, we will be disturbed, isn't it? So we defend. So in the same way, the animals also have a mechanism to defense. Okay, so that is the special type of mechanism cylinderates will be having is that stinging cells. They are called as cnidoblast. Spelling of cnidoblast is CNIDOBLASTS. Cnidoblast. C is silent here, so we read it as cnidoblast. It is not cnidoblast, it is cnidoblast. CNID. Okay, so we read pneumonia, isn't it? PNE. So P is silent in the same way, CNI, but C is silent here, and it is cnidoblast. Hope it is clear to you all. So phylum Coelenterata. So all the features we have learned of phylum Coelenterata. Hope it is clear to you all. Did you understand? Did you follow what are the phylums, how they are being differentiated, based on what type, based on the radial symmetry, based on their germ layers, based on their the body cavity, how it is being divided, we have learned. Okay, so next we will be moving towards the next phylum. Before that, let us take a deep breath so that we will find little more ease to learn. So here we have the clear image of Hydra. We have the clear image of Hydra. You can see here Hydra. You can see here the jellyfish and also the sea anemone. So these are the organisms that which comes under phylum Coelenterata. So we have seen Porifera, Cycad and Spongilla. In the same way, Hydra, jellyfish and sea anemone. At least one you remember. So jellyfish, you remember jellyfish. Yeah, or you can remember Hydra. It's very easy. So you can remember body is tube-like, tentacles are present in that way. By seeing this animal itself, you will remember the features. So then no need of revising and learning again and again. So I think we will stop here. We will learn the next phylum in the next class. So thank you for learning with me. Continue to learn at your home also. So today, once again, I will just recall the points that which we have learned today. We have learned regarding kingdom, animal kingdom. We have learned phylum Porifera. We have learned kingdom, phylum Coelenterata. Their special features, how they are being differentiated, why they come under phylum Porifera, why they come under phylum Coelenterata. What are the examples of phylum Coelenterata and phylum Porifera we have learned in details. And the next phylum we will be learning in the next class. Till that, happy learning. Thank you for learning with me. Continue to learn. Thank you.